This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe, and let's get right into the news. All right, so just wrapping the day up. We already talked about it. J. Cole's The Fall Off, projected to do number one now. If it started off at 150, but 280 to 300K first week units. J. Cole is in the streets promoting this state to state. Most rappers don't do that anymore. Most rappers don't show up, do signings, take pictures, go to clubs, meaning in-person promotions. He's not going to a club to perform. He's going to a club to hang out with his fans. He's going to college campuses and signing albums and meeting his core fan base. He's handing out albums out the trunk of a Civic he has. His first Civic. I think that's cool. All right. J. Cole can't really talk about he's the number one rapper ever and nobody can test him anymore. That's out the window. But besides that, J. Cole is a good rapper. He delivered an album that is true to him. And that's that. It didn't have a commercial hit on there, but that's not who J. Cole really is. He did that a couple times to, get the traction in the beginning. But he makes music he wants to make. I enjoyed the album. I'm not a huge J. Cole fan, but I respect the art, okay? And I respect the skills. And I like a lot of songs from J. Cole. I'm just saying I'm not really like I'm kind of like a fan that's all over the place. Like the music that I always really got into was like the Jeezy, T.I. I don't know why. It kind of motivated me, It inspired me. I don't know why. It is what it is, You like what you like. Lil Baby got himself into some trouble. We talked about this in San Francisco. He better hope that one of his friends come forward because he's being named in the news. He brought his friends with him that he distanced himself from for PF, right? And guess what? Backfired. One of them shot that football player, Keon, because they were in the club. They were out there, lost their minds, and somehow one of them had a gun and shot this guy, right? We know Lil Baby probably didn't do the shooting, but somebody got out of control, and now Lil Baby is being named as a suspect because it's not the football player who told on Lil Baby. It's the other patrons that were in the club. So it is what it is. Lil Baby should have stuck to his guns. He changed his label from 4PF to something else. He left 4PF in the past. And he distanced himself from his guys. But he just had to bring him to the Super Bowl and had to go out to a club. He should have just sent him back home. J. Cole stopped by Dungeon Family Home while he was in Atlanta. That's what's up. There's not much silly play there. YesJulz. We all know her from... Supposedly she's linked with LeBron. We know she was linked with Kanye. She's been part of Beats campaigns and everything else. She's just like... She's a white girl with a fatty, and all the guys wanted to be with her, right? And she leveraged that. So now she's saying, if you slide in my DMs and I go to your page and see you with you and your wife, I'm screenshotting and sending to her immediately. I don't care if you just won the Super Bowl. It's time for people adopted some morals. Alrighty. Jake Paul breaks down in tears after his fiancée, Jada Leardom, won an Olympic gold. I do not know who she is. Jada Leardom, let's see what she won a gold medal for. Jada Leardom. She's a Dutch speed skater. Jada Leardom. Okay. Alrighty. That's what's up. Former NFL player DeSean Jackson tells Neon that Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show was trash. It was not trash. It wasn't really like a typical NFL, it was in Spanish, so like, it just was, he did a good job for his fans, it was interesting, right? It was like kind of like a Broadway play. It was creative, but there was a language barrier. It was like I said, this is more like a FIFA performance. He's more of a global artist, you know. And when you think of the Super Bowl, they speak English, right? But you know, it is what it is. I think he did a great job. Offset, just loving that Cardi B and Stephen Diggs broke up, gloating online. And Petty Ja Rule and Tony Yayo rushed to Vlad, did an interview, said that he knew Ja Rule was going to be on the flight. Some fans told him he was ready for him. Ja Rule was acting nervous. Listen, Ja Rule was by himself. Yayo had 3 other people with him, right? So Ja Rule kept talking to him. He said, like, yo, you good? You good? You know, as he was trying to put his bags up. Uncle Murder started talking crazy to him. Ja Rule threw a pillow at Yayo. Yayo said he got up, but he was worried. Yayo admits he was worried that he was going to get on the no-fly list if he got into a fight with Ja Rule. And he told Uncle Murder, hey, we ain't going to be having that smoked duck no more. If we get into this, we ain't going to be making all this money and getting the smoked duck, smoking the best weed around the world. We got to chill. Ja Rule and Yayo get, pulled to the front of the plane. Ja Rule exits the plane. It is what it is. I think that Ja Rule held his own in this. I don't like Ja Rule too much, but he is a legend. He did his thing in music for a few years. He was linked with Supreme and them. And, 50 got shot. Beef forever. But Ja Rule held his own. You can't say that he didn't. Was he nervous? I'm sure he was like, yo, I'm going to be sitting directly in front of him. A little vulnerable. I would have said, yo, could I switch seats? He should have just stayed on the flight and switched seats. But Uncle Murder and them were going to keep taunting him. So it was maybe it was best he exited the plane, Honestly, I think the more crazy move would have been if Tony Yayo and them just said, well, look who it is. Well, we're meeting on a plane. Let's hold our composure. But if you want to throw hands in the parking lot, outside in the parking lot afterwards, let's do that. But, they handled it a little more maturely. You're not going to pop off on the plane. Some people would yo, should have popped off, should have threw me. Bro, you're going to be on a no-fly list. It's a federal offense. But, Ja Rule held his own. He was by himself. So, it is what it is. Ja Rule went to TMZ. Tony Yayo went to Vlad and told their stories. It is what it is. Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder have another podcast now. They have a podcast. So, yeah. Anyways, we'll start this off in the morning. This is just a wrap-up for the day. I appreciate you all so much. Smash that like button for me. And thank you so much for watching. Peace.